Welcome to today's new family orientation session. Before we begin, we have a few important housekeeping notes to cover.
La traducción al español para esta sesión es proporcionada por Wordly, una herramienta de traducción en tiempo real. Para acceder a este contenido en español, haga clic en el icono del globo en la barra de herramientas del lado derecho de la pantalla y seleccione Español en la lista de opciones de traducción.
Today's session is being recorded. Recordings will be available approximately 3 hours after the session ends. You can find session recordings in your session schedule or in the on-demand page of the Hub. To ask questions during this session, click on the Q&A button in the panel to the right of your screen. We'll answer as many questions as we can, either during the session or at the end. You can submit questions anonymously. Please don't share any personal information in questions, as questions will be visible to all guests. If you see a question in the Q&A panel that you want to see answered, upvote it to let our team know. Lastly, we ask that you please join us in upholding and promoting UC San Diego's principles of community, and in keeping our community free from any and all forms of discrimination and harassment. Now let's get started with today's new family orientation session.
All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on Willo app. And hello from sunny San Diego, and we're really pleased to have you all join us today. First of all, I want to introduce myself, and I will then turn it over to my colleague who will introduce herself. So my name is Dulce Dorado. I serve as the Director of Strategic Planning, Innovation, and Research, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. Wanted to share also that I'm a UC San Diego alum, and very excited to join all of you. I've had my 2 daughters go through college as well, and have another one joining next year. So I really want to congratulate all of you, your parents and your scholars, on their admission to UC San Diego. I'll turn it over to Heidi.
Thank you, Dulce. It's a pleasure to meet with all of you today, and likewise, it's an exciting time. I too have had 2 sons go, one through the UC system, and it's such an important time. We're really grateful for you spending time with us on Friday. You know, you could be doing other things, but here you're learning about how to navigate this wonderful system that we call UCSD. My job is the Director of Design and Strategy. I work with my colleague Dulce Dorado and UCSD from the UC San Diego Health side. It's called the Jacobs Center for Health Innovation, and we're leading the Willo effort, which you're going to learn about today.
Great. Thank you, Heidi. All right, so I'll get started first, just to give an introduction, and then, of course, turn it over to Heidi to talk a little bit more about Willo. Next slide, please.
Okay.
All right, great. All right, so today, this is what we're going to be talking about. First of all, why does wellness matter, and why is this an important session for you to attend, and also to review all the other sessions that we've had on student health and well-being. Of course, to just briefly go over UC San Diego's holistic approach to wellness that we have here on our campus. Then Heidi will cover the key features and functionality of Willo and how students can get involved. And of course, we'll have a live Q&A at the end of our session and give you an opportunity to ask questions of us. Next slide, please. First of all, so wellness at UC San Diego, we see it as really, it's not just a destination, but it's a continuous journey. Wellness really is not just physical aspects or the mental health aspects, but there are many dimensions of wellness. And the next slide will cover why is it important and why does it matter. Next slide, please. So why does it matter? Why is wellness important? So we view at UC San Diego, for students to be successful, both academically and socially, wellness embodies all aspects of a student's life. Not only does it promote resilience and mental health and well-being, it also encourages academic success and personal growth. It prepares our students for life beyond UC San Diego. All the skills and aspects that they learn here at UC San Diego can be taken after graduation. And of course, it helps to build a very supporting and thriving campus community so that students, faculty, and staff can support each other. Next slide, please. So here at UC San Diego, the model that we're using is a really holistic approach to wellness. What you've seen probably in many of the different sessions that have been offered through these webinar series is that you can see that UC San Diego has a broad ecosystem of support for your students when they come to our campus. In terms of how we approach student health and well-being, we try to adopt and do adopt the 8 dimensions of wellness. And you can see here in this wellness wheel that not only is it about physical and emotional wellness, but it encompasses occupational, environmental, financial, social, and intellectual well-being and wellness. Next slide, please. So I'm going to cover a little bit about what these areas are and briefly talk a little bit about some of the broader services that are available. For example, the first one here is emotional wellness. This is really the ability to understand, manage, and express emotions in a constructive way. What you'll see is some of the key practices of how this is achieved. Of course, practicing mindfulness and self-compassion, seeking support when needed. You're going to see that there are many resources on our campus that are available. Managing stress effectively so that, again, students can be successful both academically and personally. Improving the relationships that our students will have with their peers, with staff, with faculty, and then enhancing their academic performance. For example, in student health and well-being, some of the services that we have that offer support for this emotional wellness and development of this area is our counseling and psychological services. We have numerous peer support groups and stress management workshops. Next slide, please. The other aspect is physical wellness, and this is, again, maintaining a healthy body through regular exercise, nutrition, sleep, and medical care. How this is achieved is just staying active, eating balanced meals, getting enough rest so that way people can perform at their optimal level, boosting energy, focus, and ensuring that their immune system is healthy. Again, at Student Health and Wellbeing, there are different areas that support this, whether it's our student health services, our nutrition counseling, and then on campus, we have a recreation center. The third part of the wellness wheel, next slide, please, is the spiritual wellness. And this is where individuals can find purpose, value, and meaning in their life, which may or may not involve religious beliefs. So this may entail meditation, reflective journaling, connecting with nature and the community. Living here in San Diego, it's a beautiful place to connect with the environment and the surrounding areas. Increasing resilience, inner peace, and direction. On campus, we have many services and programs that support spiritual wellness, whether it's interfaith center, mindfulness and meditation programs, or any of our spiritual life advisors. The fourth area or dimension of wellness is social wellness. This is building healthy, nurturing, and supportive relationships. Some of the key practices in achieving this particular dimension is to maintain strong friendships, both here and of course back home, communicating effectively, participating in numerous group activities, reducing loneliness and isolation, increasing happiness, and of course providing emotional support from all of the resources on campus. You can see this in the student organizations and clubs. There are over 700 organizations and clubs at UC San Diego. We have cultural centers and of course residential life programs that are available at all of the undergraduate colleges. The next wellness area, next slide please, is intellectual wellness. This is engaging in creative and stimulating mental activities. And these practices are of course pursuing lifelong learning, really enhancing critical thinking, curiosity, and academic success, and just exploring new ideas, whether that's meeting with professors after hours or during office hours, meeting, of course, with friends and study groups, or just exploring different interests that students might have that they haven't had an opportunity to do so in high school. We have lots of opportunities for that on campus, whether it's through academic advising at the undergraduate colleges, library and research services, and of course, workshops and seminars. The next one, an area of wellness or dimension of wellness, is occupational wellness, finding personal satisfaction and enrichment through work or academic pursuits. This is done really, we have lots of resources of this on campus, whether it's career services, through our internship and job fairs, resume and interview coaching. All of this really is to enhance some of those practices of setting career goals, finding balance between work and life, pursuing meaningful opportunities. And of course, all of this really helps to help students build their confidence and get motivated and just be ready for the future and what's ahead after UC San Diego. The next one, I think this is the last one, is the financial wellness, managing resources to live within a student's means, and of course, planning for the future. This all, of course, involves budgeting, saving money, understanding really student loans, and hopefully in doing so, will really reduce the stress, increase students' independence, and really support their long-term goals. There are many resources at UC San Diego that offer this area of wellness, whether it's our financial aid office, budgeting workshops, or any emergency grant programs. Okay, next slide. So there's actually one more, right? Environmental wellness. So living in harmony with your surroundings and respecting the environment. How this is done, some key practices that demonstrate this would be reducing waste, spending time outdoors, of course, in beautiful San Diego, advocating for sustainability, and of course, promoting safety, sustainability, and mental clarity. We have many resources on campus, again, to be able to do this, whether it's our sustainability office, our campus gardens, and many of our environmental clubs. Next slide, please. So now bringing it all together, as I mentioned, UC San Diego really is an ecosystem of broad campus support to really support student health and well-being. Again, we see this as, it's not a destination, but this continuous lifelong journey. I've shared with you lots of resources on campus. Now, the question is, now how do your students find it, right? How are students able to identify what's best to meet their needs and meet them where they're at? How do students find out about what other students are interested in? And how can students then track their progress in achieving optimum health and well-being to ultimately lead to just happier lives? And that's where Willo comes in. So I'd like to turn it over now to my colleague Heidi, who can talk a little bit more about how we're bringing it all together and how students can really identify and have a personalized approach to their student health and well-being journey at UC San Diego.
Thank you so much, Dulce. So you have been witnessing what we've been working on for the last 2 years, which is there are so many wonderful things going on campus. Willo, to start off in our next slide, which is to talk to you about this mobile app. This is an app that has been designed by and for students. I've been working with students now for the last 2 years. It's a culmination of interviews, of focus groups, of surveys. I have actively 5 undergrad students working with me every day. I have PhD students, I have graduate students, and I have medical students. And why that's important is because Willo is a culmination of them speaking to all of us, which is there are so many things going on, but I can't find them all the time. I don't know what's going on at the same time. I don't know what events I should attend. I'm not sure which groups I should check out. Where do I find all these student organizations? The thing that's what you parents are going to be dealing with is that going to college is a really exciting time. It also can be quite overwhelming. The orientation alone, these students are going to go through all of the kind of wonderful things that are available to campus. They're going to settle into their dorms. They're going to meet their initial set of friends. And then they might go like, what was that thing again? What was that really cool resource? Where do I find that group? So Willo is a mobile app dedicated to UCSD and its ecosystem. It's an app that connects students to all the things that are going on campus. And really, it's the driver to continue to make that stickiness, the connection to your friends, to your community. It's also an opportunity for Willo to really move into a holistic, as Dulce pointed out, wellness. What does wellness mean? How do I recognize that I might be stressed because I've got all these classes back to back? and I've got to attend another lecture. Who can help me with writing a paper? Who can help me with time management? How do I alleviate my stress? How do I figure out coping skills when I'm dealing with, let's say, a bad grade? These are all the things that Willo is starting to bring into your environment so that your students can thrive and your students will learn to grow over time with the skills that they'll learn here on campus, both in class and off class, off campus, and digital and analog. We want our students to find these timely available campus resources and events. We want them to discover all the services that can be available to them. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit more with Willo, is that it really drives on a personalized recommendation system. I'll get to that in just a moment. And finally, what's really a huge benefit is the students have an opportunity as an opt-in feature to be connected to MyChart, their student MyChart health system. Now, students who are in the UC SHIP or RAFT, who have brought in the UCSD health system to their success and ability to thrive, will be able to see just their appointments coming up. We really classify this in two ways. Your health, business of health, resides with MyChart, and what you would see in Willo is just a reminder, an opportunity for a student to go, oh yeah, I do have that wellness checkup that I need to go take a look at. We think that's important because we see wellness as all of the kinds of things you do to proactively take care of yourself, to be reminded of the opportunities that you've already scheduled for, and to continually grow as a student. So let me show you a couple of features on the next slide here to talk about that. So slides are a little bit small. We encourage you, and you can see these QR codes all over the slides, to have your students download the app. If they haven't already, they should be receiving their UCSD EDU email. That will allow them through SSO to activate and use Willo. That first screen that you see from left to right is the opportunity to surface all of these, what we call curated collections. These little box with the picture above, these are all sort of geared towards experiences that students may have. In this case, our freshmen. You'll notice a starter pack. That starter pack has been curated by other students who have thought through themselves, what would I have recommended to a freshman now that I'm a second year or third year? What are the key kinds of things that I'd love for those students to get an engagement with right away? Is that setting up for a counselor? Is that checking out the student orgs? Is it heading over to what's called a RISE workshop to use yoga and meditation and walking on the beach? Is it places of finding where's the best food? Where's the farmer's market? Those kinds of things will be surfaced in Willo. The top of that screen is really a welcome message to each user each and every day. And that little sort of white box is what we call our calls to action. And those are actions, again, just to keep your students up to date for reminders and check-ins. These are also an opportunity for the campus to broadcast things that are going on campus all the time. So that broadcast could be something health related, like, hey, there's a flu shot, why don't you take a look at it? Or there's a whole new event that's being broadcast for the students, something like the Sun God Festival, which is a very popular event driven by and run by students. When you go past that and you click on one of these collections, the second screen you'll see is that students will be able to see timely resources mapped to wellness. So as Dolce pointed out, we have these 8 wellness wheels. We've categorized them just a little bit differently, but they are 8. And students will find things in those symbols like, what does this service relate to my overall growth? Does it support my basic needs? Does it support my academics? Does it support my mental and physical health and wellness? Does it support my financial strength and management? And as the student taps into a particular collection, you'll notice it gives you a description of what that collection is. It immediately surfaces the categories that are mapped to that particular collection, gives you information about that collection, which you can save, you can share with your fellow student if you'd like. And then below, it shows an itemized list of those particular items. That could be a resource, that could be an event coming up, that could be a service. When you click on that, you'd be able to get even more information and be able to tap into the ability, whether that's to register or attend to something on Google or add it actually to your calendar. The third screen is, we think, is also an exciting area. We have a campus-wide event system, which has done a remarkable job of, again, bringing everything together. So these campus creators that are all over creating these new events. This opportunity for Willo is, again, to customize that. You might see in that filter, the first one, for you. That for you is based on an onboarding set of preferences. So when you first come onto Willo, it'll ask you a series of questions, of which you can skip as well. But what are the kinds of things that are important to you? Over about 40 tags, that user can then identify the kinds of things that they would like Willo to surface for them. That's what's happening here. So under the for you, those events that are going on campus will be able to be shown to that user, whether they're a second year, in this case, a first year, whether they're in a particular college, whether you're STEM or in your humanities, whether you like outdoor activities or indoor activities, those kinds of things will be surfaced for you. The middle filter there, of course, is just all the events. If you want to keep scanning and looking for things, you can do that. You can also access the search, quickly type in a keyword to be able to surface those types of events or resources. And what you also it's not on this screen, but you'll also be able to categorize the searching of those events and resources by day or time. And that's really important because often we have students that, across campus, if you haven't been to our campus yet, you know how beautiful it is and also how large it is. So that time of day is going to be really important for your student if they're on one side of campus and enjoying maybe the beautiful side of the west side, and they want to run over to an event to participate in yoga, but they know it's going to take them 10 or 15 or maybe even 25 minutes to walk across campus. That's going to be important for them to make those choices. Again, we're doing that because we know that there are so many great things going on campus. It is my job, and I'm excited to be able to surface all of those and bring them to one place in the app, because everybody is here to support and give your student the opportunity to thrive and make their own connections and find their own communities. And that's what's important about that feature. The final, as I mentioned, is that the student will be able to see their upcoming health appointments. And we're working on additional features here so that, again, students can always be keeping track, staying on time, and being reminded of things that they've already signed up for they need to attend to. And again, that's all to support their success, because it gets really busy and we want to make sure that we make that available to them. So the next slide, I want to talk a little bit more about the app. And first focus in on, you might be thinking, well, where'd you come up with Willo, and what is Willo? Well, it is very much, as you can see, the Willo tree. The Willo tree and the way that we've designed this mobile app is really embedded in thinking about growth and nourishment. In some cultures, it was actually referenced as a place of nourishment, that tree growing next to the stream that indicated to other tribes that they needed to find that. They knew they could count on the willow tree for nourishment. It's also been shown in other historical references as the willow tree of strength and resilience. And we all know with trees, as they age, they starting young, they bend and they can be adaptable. As they grow, they become more resilient. And they understand that there are changes of time, and they understand that there are things that we all need to deal with as adults in a growing world. And we recognize that in students, is that students are going to have these ups and downs and these opportunities to really learn how they become resilient over time. So that's what's being represented in the tree. The second is, if you lean in, you'll see these little circles and you'll see these little sort of willow buds next to them. Those circles, again, represent these areas of the Willo wellness categories, those basic needs in the mental and physical health wellness categories, those spiritual categories, and those financial categories. And this gives you an opportunity to quickly, sort of a slight gamification, where the user can see one of those buds and see the number next to them. They can also see a little quick review of how many collections did I complete and how many resources did I access and what were those events. We think this is an important part because we know from our student designers that we're working with, and we know from our students, of which I'll reference here, who work with us as our research team, to be able to keep progress, to be able to reflect. What did I do that first quarter? What were the events that really allowed me to move? What were the events that were exciting to me? That recommendation engine that's being engineered and running in the background of the app will continue to surface areas of recommendations where categories where they spend a lot of time, and also service maybe the things that they might want to explore and categories that haven't been spent a lot of time on and they'll want to be able to grow in that section. That insights page, as you'll see in the next screen here, and it will now be in the middle. As I said, it shows you progress over time, and it will also show you new recommendations. So again, for example, if your student is spending more time in physical wellness, they're attending the gym and they're attending some classes, they're really enjoying that, Willow's going to continue to surface new recommendations for that user. Again, just to reiterate, some of the categories that maybe aren't explored right away, that could be occupational, maybe they're not quite ready to take on that internship or job, or maybe they haven't thought about their financial well-being. I know you all are thinking about that. These are an opportunity again for the app to surface all the things that are available to the student. Free courses, free lectures, workshops, counselors, all those kinds of things to allow the student to continue to succeed. The other part that we know is very important, and that's the first screen that you see there, is the ability for the student user to complete an item, to check it off. That's important, as we've learned from our research, because as I mentioned, the student user wants to check off their progress. They want to see growth over time. They want to know that they're growing. They want to know what areas are continuing to help them support and thrive. But it really is their own accountability. We're not asking them to check off. We're asking them as a Willow user, if you'd like to check it off and get credit, so to speak, you'll be able to see that tree grow. We're excited about this feature because this is a feature then that you parents could potentially also ask about. What are the things that are driving? What categories are you leaning into? What are the cool things that you've done maybe in the last a week or quarter that's really causing you a lot of interest as you continue to grow as a student? So these are the things you can expect for your student here come fall for Willow. Now the next screen whoops, sorry, I'm just looking for that next screen here. Thank you. So you may have heard me talk about by and for students. The app is designed. It has been for students. We have students that we work with, which is called the Bud. So this is an opportunity for your students to be involved in a lot of levels and layers with Willow. Bud is an insider community made up currently of 45 students, undergrad, grad, and 2 medical students. It is voluntary. And these students are our bread and butter, so to speak, because they're giving us constant feedback on when we come up with a new design. We involve them in user testing. We run focus groups. What's the new latest thing that we need to think about? How do we shift the content? What are the kinds of features that would be most important to you? What's not working? All of these things are critical for Willow to continue to develop, to design features, to be able to provide this information back to our student users. Again, A/B testing and so on. The Bud community does receive exclusive Willow merchandise, and we have other things that we're coming up with. And to no surprise of this audience, yes, that merchandise is also created by and for students. It's my pleasure to do that because this is our commitment for the growth of our students. We work with students from the design side. I have students that are writing for me. I have students that are researching with and for me. And it's important because we want to make sure that we're constantly representing and being really attuned to what is needed for the student. How do we help them succeed? How do we help them thrive? And how do we bring all this information into one place called Willo so that your students can access as much as is available to them so that they can find their own way, they can grow their own tree. And so we're really excited about this opportunity, and we hope that one or two of your students that are thinking, your kids that are thinking about this now might consider joining the bud and working with us as we continue to grow this app. The final slide, just wanted to reiterate, we are currently under a campaign with encouraging all of our incoming students to download that app. We hope that this app you will find as parents as well, that again, you'll hear about what students are getting into, not only their academics, but how they're connecting with their community, finding their community, and learning about all the cool things that go on campus. This is an opportunity, again, to support your students. It's the easiest and best way to keep informed and to keep your students informed. So with that, hopefully I've given enough information about Willo. I think we can open up to questions and answers, but I'll reach out to my colleague as well to see if I've missed anything or I can add anything to the presentation.
Great. Thank you, Heidi, for the wonderful presentation. I know that Heidi and I have tag teamed in the past, and she's always such a wonderful presenter and gives such great insight on the development of the app. I'm going to look at questions really quick, and if any of our participants, if you have questions, please enter them into the live QA section, and we'll go ahead and answer them. First one for Heidi for now is, can you speak a little bit about how the app identifies kind of the personalized aspect of what a student might be interested in? How does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I wish I would have had that that particular screenshot. So we have categorized these tags or preferences very similar to if you've been on something like New York Times, or if you've been on Reddit, or you've been on Netflix, or so these are our preference tags. They're keywords that users can select. You can select all of them or the ones obviously that make sense to you. So these tags really identify both the categories and then again, things that you might be interested. That could be arts and culture, that could be STEM, that could be I have ADHD and want to see what else is surfaced for me. And so the point of that is that the more that we can understand, or I should say the recommendation engine from Willo, the more that user selects those first few preferences, the more that we can sort of, personalize those first set of collections and events and resources. The beauty of this is that we're also allow the users to add their college. We know that's important, to add their major and minor. That's going to be also important again, because we want to be able to surface things that you generally really want to engage in initially. And then secondly, of course, in the app on the profile side, you can adjust that, and it basically in live will update and refresh that information. So you're not driven to one thing. It's a good starting place, and then we can curate as you start to consume Willo.
Great, thank you, Heidi. Another one is, how is Willo addressing the rising demand really for mental health and well-being? How is that being met in Willo?
Yeah, so we know in our research that, as I said, not only is it an exciting time, it can be an overwhelming time to come to campus. We also know that there's still degrees of anxiety and levels of loneliness and that students and many people experience. Willo is scientifically backed, working with our scientific advisors, where we really also look at the content from what we call sort of a stepped care model. We've been working with our CAPS providers very specifically and regularly to make sure to surface all of the content and resources that are available. The other thing is that we always make sure there is the ability to tap on one button to seek help right away. And help right away can mean a lot of things for a lot of different students. Help can mean I just need to talk to someone about classes. Help can mean I'm trying to navigate my housing. Help can mean I'd like to talk to a counselor. And help can mean I'd like to schedule an escort at night to walk me from this fun party back to my dorm. And lastly, help can mean I need to speak to an academic advisor. So that is its own navigation button. We know that's important. We want to make sure that students can get immediate response and they can also take time over the discovery of the many resources in the app and activate it that way.
Great. And Heidi, the last one here that I see is, the Willo is a collaboration with the Jacobs Center for Health Innovation and at UC San Diego Health, of course, by our student developers, student health and well-being. What are some features that are planned for future versions?
Yeah, great question. So what you were seeing in that growth tree is actually a new feature that'll be coming to our students in the fall. We are also looking to really increase the robustness of the health side. So we can see that many of our providers who are wanting to also recommend collections to many of their students, whether or not they're in a group session or they're doing a meditative workshop, we want them to be able to recommend those resources. Those two will be coming soon. We also are starting to really lean into, which no surprise, is not only by and for students. So you can expect stories being driven by former or students that are older. So we have a scholar athlete, for example, that's writing now a story of what are the things I'd recommend to my first year if I was still that freshman who's now a third year, who's been working with us for 2 years. And we're excited that not only our providers are starting to curate some of these collections so that they can recommend to some of their student clients. We're hoping to start to do that with faculty and with our peer advisors as well, I should say student peer advisors, so that they can reach out and be seen and heard on the app.
Great. And I do see a question here from one of our parents. Can parents also download this app to know current events and wellness approaches?
I wish I could say that was a future feature, but what I can say is that I hope you'll open up the dialogue, right? So really if you are a UCSD staff and personnel, the answer is yes. If you're a parent outside of that, then I suggest really talking and engaging with your student. And maybe he or she will show that app to you to show you all the cool things that are going on. So we really want to encourage that level of engagement. I will say in a lot of our user research, this is a pretty consistent request. So we're hoping to lean into that and see where we can continue to support that effort such that parents will have more visibility and access things that they might be interested in as well.
Great, thank you, Heidi. So yeah, so one of the advice, right, is maybe sit down with your student, say that they've heard about Willo, download the app, or even check out willo.ucsd.edu and perhaps see what's available. Would be good advice for our parents.
We'd love it. We actually do it. We still do it on campus as well. I think what's been fun about this, Dolce, is that as I mentioned, there are so many amazing things going on campus. And it may not surprise you, but sometimes even folks on campus, if they're like, teaching or whatever, I met with some mechanical engineering departments, and they're like, we know all this. And like, we had no idea there was this surfing camp going on. Like, how do we get involved? So that's right. Actually the fun thing too, is that we're actually encouraging even our faculty who can access the app to also access it regularly, because again, there are so many things going on campus, and why not? You're paying for it anyway. Why not access as many resources as possible?
Mm-hmm. And I do see another question here. So does Willo work well for students who might be dealing with specific challenges, whether it's anxiety, depression, or eating disorders?
It is. Again, we have a terrific group, of course, the student health and well-being, our health promotion. So there's actually very specific courses that are being offered, workshops that are being offered. Again, you can find that in Willo. The nice thing about Willo is that you can do a search and search for that particular keyword. Again, it can put you in contact with our CAPS groups right away. We'll also, we've spent a lot of time in wanting to describe as much as we can so that you can quickly make a decision about that. But the short answer is, again, as you know, there are, the CAPS resources are immense, and these folks are really well trained and skilled in this conversation and in this student experience. So what Willo does is try to, again, surface that information, make it really easy for the student to make that decision, and then make it even easier to contact whomever they think is will be of interest in that pathway. But yes, those services are available.
Mm-hmm. Great. And I think we talked about this. It's think of Willo as either that, third or fourth year student who's gone through UC San Diego and is aware of the resources, or maybe a staff member or a faculty member who's aware of a resource that can really help students. So think of Willo as that kind of that buddy or that extra help to kind of weed through all of the different resources on campus.
Yes, and I want to second that, right. And to second that is because, as I said, my student designers, I'm really leading and guiding the framework. I am just privileged and honored to work with our students. They have made this commitment. And I've actually taught other students who now, when they hear about Willo, are always like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have had this when I was at UCSD. So it really is driven by a natural state and an origin story of students wanting to just to your point of give back, pay forward, make it a little bit easier, get students to something a little bit faster. And again, that's why there's so much variety. I mean, it can be from like, where's the best place to hydrate? Like, fill up my thermos, to where's that cool club, to how do I get on that camping trip, right? How do I quickly go over to recreation and, figure out how that works? There's even cool things, like I said, too. It's like, puppies in the library. I'm like, what are you talking about? Puppies in the library, which is actually super popular. And again, it's like, how do I know about that? Like lo-fi beats on the fourth floor of the library. And those are things that are really fun, because you might think library books, yes, but it's a super highly social environment, a great place to really, jam and work with other students. It's also been designed to de-stress, to be able to be reflective, to think about kind of the things that you're reading. And the last thing I'll just share too is that there are really cool things in collaborations, like the Stewart collection that brought in this artist last year from overseas, and was this whole like painting and meditating and all of those kind of cool things. Again, they were all surfaced in Willo to just say, these are the things that are just available to you. That's what's so amazing about it.
Right. Well, then on that note, thank you again, everyone, for joining us for this session on the Willo app. Again, we want to just really congratulate you and your family and your student scholar who will be joining us at UC San Diego. As you can see, UC San Diego has immense resources throughout the ecosystem to support your students' health and well-being. Willo is just one of those apps that will help a student navigate all of the resources. It'll personalize things that the students might be interested in, maybe explore things that they weren't even aware existed, or if there's a specific need, whether it's they're going through challenges here at UC San Diego or need after-hour care of some way. If you just don't know the information, have your students download Willo, check it out, and maybe remind them about the Willo app so that way they can find available resources. Anything else to add to that, Heidi, before we end?
Just do the QR code and download. The sooner you download, the sooner you'll see how cool and amazing UCSD is. And we are just so delighted to congratulations and welcome you to UCSD's ecosystem. You'll have a great place to thrive. Thank you so much for your time.
Great. Thank you again, Heidi. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.